Salut, my little baguettes. Today we're doing Leçon 2, Après le Bac of Entre Jeunes Class X. So we're going to start with the chapter literature portion. Here we're going to be going through a discussion between two people, as we can see in the image. So we've got Pauline and Ali, our regular characters. Here's Pauline and here's Ali. And what are they doing? They're having a discussion, right? As you can see up here. So, quand j'aurai fini mon bac, je ferai des études technologiques. Après mon bac, j'irai à la fac. So here, Pauline is saying, this will give you a gist of what we're talking about, right? An idea of what exactly we're gonna go through in this entire passage. So what are they talking about? So she says, when I will have finished mon bac, I will do my technological studies, right? So here, j'aurai fini. This is an important tense, right? That is future antérieur. Like for example, I will have finished my board exams when I will enter the university. So you're talking about things that will already be finished in the future before you start another thing, right? So you will need to finish your boards first in the future, only then you can enter into a university. Here, mon bac is a French exam. It's called baccalauréat, right? You can also see it in the title. It's gonna be everywhere. So baccalauréat is an exam, right? Like we have 12th board exams in CBSE. They have bac, the baccalauréat, and baccalauréat is what decides what university you're gonna go into, right? So baccalauréat is what exam that they give at the end of 12th. That is au lycée. Then she says, je ferai des études technologiques. Ferai is your tenses, future sampler, right? And what verb is it? It is the verb faire conjugated in future sampler, as I said. Now, faire is an exception, so it becomes ferai with your subject, je. Ali says, après mon bac, j'irai à la fac. Again, future sampler is your tense and the verb is aller, which is an exception, so it becomes iré with your subject je. Where is he planning to go? He's planning to go to the fac. Fac is your university. It's short for faculté. And then we're going to jump into discussion now that we know they're talking about studies and exams and what they want to do in the future, right? So the entire discussion will be based off of that. Pauline et Ali vont terminer leur bac. Ils discutent sur leur projet d'études dans la cafétéria de leur lycée. That is, Pauline and Ali vont terminer leur bac. They're going to finish their exam, right? The baccalauréat. This is your tense future proche, right? Aller plus infinitive. Aller is conjugated plus your infinitive of the verb terminer, that is to terminate, or more accurately to finish something. Now what are they doing? They are in the cafeteria, right, of their high school. And what are they doing? As you can see in the image, they are discussing. It is the verb discuter, to discuss. Their topic is projet d'études, that is educational plans. Projet, it doesn't necessarily mean project, it means plans. Now we're going to go into the discussion, the dialogues. So Pauline says, salut Ali. Ali, salut Pauline, ça va? They're basically exchanging pleasantries, greeting each other, right? Hello, how are you doing? How are you doing? And then Pauline says, pourquoi as-tu un air inquiet? That is, I'm good, but why do you have un air inquiet? Now, inquiet is to worry, right? So she's saying, why do you look worried? Now, air doesn't exactly mean air in English, right? It is an expression, avoir air, that is to look. So now he's explaining what happened. So he says, je m'inquiète de mon avenir. Quand j'aurai fini mon bac, je ne sais pas quoi faire. So Ali responds that I am worried of my future. M'inquiète is your verb, s'inquiéter. It is a pronominal verb, right? This you can see it is a pronominal verb, that is to, because the action is being done on oneself. So who is worried? Ali is worried. And what is he worried about? He's worried about son avenir. That is, avenir means your future. What is to come. Then he explains, quand j'aurai fini mon bac, that is, when I will have finished my baccalauréat, again, your tense future antérieur, I'm writing FA, je ne sais pas quoi faire. That is, he doesn't have an idea. He doesn't know what he's going to do once he's done with the final year exams, right? Like some people, after they give the 12th boards, they don't know what they want to do, what they want to pursue. So his is the same condition, right? It's very normal. Sometimes people don't know what they want to do. So, je ne sais pas, that is a phrase people use very, frequently. That is, oh, I don't know, je ne sais pas, je ne sais pas. So, say is a verb savoir, to know something. Then she responds, pourquoi, qu'est-ce que tu désires faire? That is why, like why do you not know what you're going to do? What do you desire to do? Désire faire, right? She's asking that. So he responds, je veux continuer mes études à la université. That is, I want to continue my studies at the university level, right? Because he's done with 12th. So obviously the next step is the university. Verb is to want, your verb vouloir. And then Pauline is like, yeah, that's good, right? Bien, et alors, that is, and so. So he says, vois-tu, les études à la université coûtent très cher. Mes parents au Sénégal auront-ils les moyens de payer les frais de mes études? Now, here's the reason why he doesn't know what he's supposed to do, why he's confused. So he says, vois-tu. Now, you see, here it is a voir, to see. So he's explaining, oh, you see, les études à la université, that is the education, right? Coûte. Now it is a verb, coûter, er verb, to cost. So he's saying the education, it will cost très cher. That is, très cher means very expensive. And why does it bother him? Because he says, mes parents au Sénégal auront-ils les moyens de payer? That is, my parents, they live at Senegal, right? That's the country we talked about in Africa. So his parents are from there, and he's saying, will they have the means to pay? Les moyens de payer is the means to pay. Auront-ils, it's inversion, right? So auront-ils, it is the verb avoir conjugated in future simple. So he's saying, will they have the means to pay les frais de mes études? That is, will they have they don't have any way because it costs very expensive. How will they pay for the fees of my studies? So she responds, what Pauline is doing, she is giving a solution. That is, une solution. What is her solution now? Her solution is that, pourquoi faut-il dépendre entièrement de tes parents? That is, why do you want to depend completely, entirely on your parents, right? Dépendre is to depend, right? And il faut, that is, again, this is inversion, right? Faut is the verb falloir, right? It means, falloir means necessary. It's an expression. We use il faut this, il faut that, right? That means, why is it necessary? Like, why is it, mandatory to depend on your parents, right? You also have other options, right? You don't have to completely depend on your parents. Now, what are the other options? This is extremely important. They ask this question in exam, right? That what are the ways to pay for your education, right? If someone can't afford it, how can you pay for your education? The answer is, tu pourras avoir des bourses du gouvernement. En plus, tu pourras trouver des emplois à mi-temps. Now, what is her solution? She is giving two solutions. First solution is that you can have, you can take the help of bourse du gouvernement. This is very important. What is bourse du gouvernement? That is the government scholarship. Okay, bourse is your government scholarships. That is one way of paying for your education. En plus, that is furthermore, another option. What is that? You can find, trouver is your verb to find, des emplois à mi-temps. That is a job. Mi-temps means half time or part time, right? So another way is to do part time jobs. Now here you will see in both places you have pourra and pourra. This is your verb pouvoir, to be able to or to can, in future simple. Again, an exception. It's very important to memorize this. So she gave two ways. Again, I'll tell you. One way is to take government scholarship. Another way is to pay through doing part-time jobs. Now, when you're writing the answer, what you can do is that when you're explaining that, how can one pay, instead of writing tu, you should write on pourra, and then copy the rest of the sentence, that on pourra avoir des bourses du gouvernement, on pourra trouver des emplois à mi-temps. That will be your answer. When you're writing the answer in the exam, use on pourra. That is, one can, one will be able to. So when you're writing the answer, we generalize a little bit. When you say tu, it feels like you're talking to someone, right? And we're not talking to anyone. We're just explaining in general that one can do this, one can do that. So it is better to write en pourra when you're trying to frame your answer in the exam. Now again, she's expanding on the second point. What was the second point? To find part-time jobs, right? Des emplois mi-temps. Means, for example, right? As. Now, what are the example of part-time job? What part-time jobs can one person do? Par exemple, what are the examples, right? So she says, what jobs I can do. So she says, le soir, quand tu seras rentré de l'université, après les cours, tu pourras trouver des petits emplois comme faire du babysitting ou laver la voiture ou travailler dans un supermarché, etc. Ainsi, tu pourras gagner ce qu'il faut pour faire tes études. Lot of lines, right? Now we're going to dissect it. So what exactly is she trying to say? She says in the evenings, right? Le soir, when you come back from the university. Sera rentré. Again, future antérieur. We're going to discuss that in a separate video. I'll do a separate video on grammar topic of future antérieur, how we frame it, how we use it. But for now, know that this is future antérieur. So she says, when you will have come back from the university, after your courses, after your lectures, what can you do in the evening? In the evening, you can find some little jobs, right? So what are the examples of it? First example, this is again important, faire du babysitting, right? So on peut faire du babysitting. One way is that you can do babysitting, right? You can take care of children. Second way is that ou laver la voiture. That is, you can clean the car, right? Somebody's car. You can wash somebody's car. Another part-time job, third answer, is that you can work. Travailler is to work, right? A lot of students think travailler means to travel, which is wrong. Okay, travailler means to work. So what is she saying? Another way of part-time job is to work in a supermarket. Now note that it is un supermarché, not une supermarché. Even though it ends with e, it is un because supermarché is an exception. Etc. That means, there are a lot of options that you can do. So these are three examples, A, B and C, of part-time jobs. That is babysitting, cleaning someone's car, or working in a supermarket. And that's how you will be able to earn. Again, this word is very important. Question might come, how can you earn, right? To pay for your education, right? Or how do you pay the fees of your university? So the question might come, gagner means to earn. You need to know what that means, right? So these are the ways that you can earn for studying further. First is government scholarship, second is finding part-time jobs, and then you also have to give at least two examples of the part-time jobs that you're talking about. Now, what was this entire two dialogues that Pauline gave? What was it? It was advice, right? And advice is conseil. You also might get this in a letter, right? In section B, the question might be, your friend is struggling to pay the fees, right? Or they want to do part-time jobs. Suggest them some ways to, pay for the education. So they might ask you like, donner les conseils. That is, give them the advice. Now, these are the advice you'll give. You'll use Pauline's words. Fine. Then Ali responds, obviously he's very grateful. So he says, merci beaucoup pour tes conseils. That is, thank you very much for your advice, right? Tes paroles m'ont beaucoup soulagé. Bien, à propos, quels sont tes projets? So he says, tes paroles, that is your words. It comes from the verb parler. Parler to speak, and paroles are the words. Okay, so he says they relieved me a lot. Again, m'ont beaucoup soulagé. It is passé composé, right? They relieved me a lot. Soulager is to relieve, right? It comes from the verb soulager, er verb, to relieve. Now she responds, now he's asking like, à propos, that is about something, right? What are your plans? So she responds, les lettres et les sciences humaines ne m'intéressent pas. J'ai envie de faire d'autres études. So she's telling him that, the literature and the humanities, all that, it doesn't interest me. So what interests her? J'ai envie de. Again, this is very important. It is an expression. What does it mean? This expression means I have a need. The expression is avoir envie de quelque chose. That is to have a need of something. So what does she have a need of? She has a need of doing something else, studying something else. So comme quoi, like what? Je voudrais entrer dans un IUT, faire mes études de technologie. So voudrais, again, this is a completely new tense. It is present conditional. For now, know that it means I would like to, I would want to. It's the verb vouloir conjugated. So she would like to, she would want to enter in a IUT. Again, full form might come, right? IUT is your institut. Université de Technologie. Okay, that is a university for Institute of University Technology, right? So technology, she wants to study technology. And now he asks this course, right? Will it not be expensive? Ne sont-ils pas chers? So she says C. Now again, extremely important. Why have we written C here? When someone asks you a question, you respond with yes or no. What is the C? C means if, right? But there's another use of C, that is, it's very important if someone asks you a negative question and you want to respond in positive, you will say C. That is, if someone says, oh, did you not want breakfast? You will say C. That means I did want breakfast. Okay. Or if will they not be expensive? So she's like, yeah, it will be expensive. So C. His question is negative, answer is positive, so it becomes C. But she's saying, even though it's expensive, mes parents sont assez riches pour payer mes études. That is, my parents are rich enough. Assez means enough. So they're rich enough, they're well off, right, for paying for her education. And quand je serai sortie de cet institut, je pourrai chercher un emploi. So when she will have, gotten out of this institute, again, future antérieur, serai sortie from this institute, again, je pourrai, that is future simple of pouvoir, she will search for a job. Chercher is your verb to search. Now, we end the conversation with bien, bon chance à toi aussi. So best of luck for whatever the future plans are. And this was your first passage of Leçon 2.